Hey guys! So this one's gonna be a little bit different because I'm talking about, well, I guess not different because I did have a couple of videos like this before, but I'm gonna talk about some of our family history with the Thanksgiving. So I know that Thanksgiving is not exactly a great holiday. Believe me, it's not my favorite. A lot of people have some troubles around it. A lot of people have some very negative feelings around Thanksgiving, and that's extremely valid and totally normal. And if you can't celebrate Thanksgiving because of certain things, because of certain beliefs or anything, I apologize. You can skip this video, totally get it. And I'm going to talk about some of my mom's traditions mostly. So, one thing for a fact is ever since I was little, Thanksgiving was a big family event. And I mean, big. Mom would always dress to the nines, go out as far as she could. She was used to cooking for an army, as we used to joke. But Thanksgiving, that was her Christmas, I guess, if that's how you want to describe it. But yeah, so with Thanksgiving, we had the normal foods and everything, as most people do, which is turkey, stuffing, or dressing, as they call it in the South, a vegetable of some sort, rolls, mostly stuffed mushrooms, dad's famous mint tea, and just kind of stuff like that. Sometimes we'd have an appetizer of cheese and gherkins with deviled eggs and stuff like that. So throughout the years, we have always had a big Thanksgiving, and it's always been really fun. I don't have any of the videos or footage here today of our really, really big ones, but there was a couple of times where we would host for the neighbors. We'd have this big tent in our front yard. It was almost like a car park tent, but it was big enough for I think two tables. We would rent tables and chairs. My best friend across the street, Angel, would come over when my cousins would come over, and my grandmother was there when she was alive, and everybody in the family would come over, and it would be a big deal. You didn't have to bring anything because mom would make plenty, and I was often the one that was helping her. Of course, the kids would get a little rambunctious, and we'd go and do crafts and make things. And at the time, it was totally acceptable to wear paper headdresses of feathers and indigenous regalia that we would make out of paper crafts as children. I think they still do it. I don't know. And we would play Indians and Pilgrims and have this big feast and be all together and everything. Of course, nowadays that's not as good, and I totally understand why. um, but besides that, it's been kind of a holiday that a lot of people go for what they're thankful for and express their love for their family, and that would be kind of what our family tradition was mostly about. It wasn't really about the turkey. It wasn't really about the colonization of indigenous people that are had their land here first before us and everything, but it was mostly of just we are thankful to be together. We are thankful that we're able to have this meal, that we can afford it, that we can actually go someplace this year, stuff like that. So here's a couple of stories besides that one that I have up on my dad's webpage, that my dad has up on his webpage, and some that I wanted to share because they were really nice and really good, and I think you guys would like them too. So in 2009, we went to my sister's ex husband's in law's house where his mother was inside, assisted by my sister Teresa, in fixing the dinner, and it was really good. And then the next morning, we went for a little bit of early shopping and then we hooked up the camper and went to Tucson. So we went over to the Gilbert Ray campgrounds near the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum, and mom cooked a turkey in a Dutch oven. She baked bread and generally prepared an entire feast for our friends, my aunt and uncle Kat and Scott, up from Flagstaff. And my aunt Kat has a little bit of some dietary restrictions, and at the time it was just gluten free and stuff like that. So mom put all the work into it to make sure that it was a meal that Kat and Scott could eat fully and make sure that it was something that they didn't have to worry about. And since we were camping, we were able to do it over that. Another thing about camping with our family is that we always camped full meals. It was never just beanie weenies. That was something I had for as a child for my birthdays because I insisted. But For the actual camping trips, we would make bread, we'd make brownies. One time we made a lasagna, enchiladas, everything. We always cooked full meals. And people would be really surprised about that. They would be like, how did you get that to work in a camp? And mostly it's because my family are campers and we do a little bit more glamping, I guess. We use some more like kitchen tools and stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then we're going to fast forward in time to 2010. So only a year, but there's going to be a couple of time skips in here, just so you know. So the main thing that we had for 2010 was we had a normal Thanksgiving, nothing much. You're going to see a lot of pictures of the same kind of turkey. Mom had a very particular thing. I'd massage the butter under the skin and not under the skin. I'd massage the butter over the skin and then we would stick oranges in it and under the skin and do herbs and stuffing and mushrooms, and we had to use sage sausage. It was very, very particular. But in 2010, Mom and Dad and I had a few friends over for a harvest party where we fixed one turkey in a Dutch oven with wine and butter injected into it, so a little bit different. And we smoked one turkey and had duck on a rotisserie. One of our guests brought a dish to share. Mom tweaked her already amazing pumpkin pie recipe. She makes pumpkin cheesecake. She made pumpkin cheesecake all the time, and I do that. And made her sweet potato casserole, which is one of the other staples of our Thanksgiving. But at the same time, Mom did this all the time. When there was an office party, an office contest, she would make things around the same time. So she made the pumpkin pie, the sweet potato casserole, but she also made a cheesecake, which was the Christmas Cranberry Delight cheesecake. It was around the same time, so I'm including it in the Thanksgiving thing. Mom didn't win first place this year, but she did third place. Yes, but she did win third place. But Mom and I have won multiple awards for our baking. I have won an award for my tres leche. Mom has won it for an apple strudel. I came in second to her. I'm not surprised. But yeah, so then now we're going to fast forward again, 2014. So one thing that we normally do is after Thanksgiving is we set up the tree. And this was one of the times that we took inspiration from my Aunt Donna and Uncles Pete, where they normally do a tree trimming party. And it's normally closer to Christmas and everything, but we decided to do it after Thanksgiving. So my sister and my ex-brother-in-law, her ex-husband, came over to share Thanksgiving with us. And afterwards, and about a day or two afterwards, my friends came over to decorate our tree. We ate pizza and we decorated cookies. And it's something that my parents really started doing after a while, is that we would invite all my friends over to decorate the tree, just because it became a little bit easier than having Mom and Dad to have to get up and down the ladder. We got rid of the really big one that like hooked together that by color code. If you know what tree I'm talking about, you know my struggle and pain and how you had to risk not stepping on the hook and nearly getting a tetanus shot. Yeah. But it was really fun. And since we took that from Pete and Donna, we were able to have more opportunities for it later on, where my friends would come over, decorate the tree, and Mom made it a whole thing. Now, in 2017, Mom and Dad went from LA to Seattle on an Amtrak train. So we had a little bit of a smaller Thanksgiving, but they still had, well, I wouldn't say we had a smaller Thanksgiving. They still had a lot of fun, and that was the talk of Thanksgiving, really. We actually had my sister, my Aunt Gloria, my cousin Amy, and my uncle Paul, also known as Moose. And so we had Thanksgiving with them, and it was really great. And that's one of the times that, like, I remember distinctly is them joining us. It was Paul's first time in our house, I think. But yeah, it was like one of the years in 2017 that we all got to see each other and have Thanksgiving, which is kind of rare because they are in Florida and we're in Arizona. So it's like a little bit of different distance. And now for 2018, instead of having my family over, we invited Colette and then Teresa and her boyfriend Mike. So at this point, Teresa's divorced. But yeah, so we had a full table with Mom, Dad, Colette, Mike, and Teresa. And we had the normal stuff, everything we had, nothing really unusual. If it was, Dad would have put it on the newsletter. But yeah, it was always great, and it's one of the things that, like, Colette's part of my family, and we've always been a part of it. Like, I think Courtney and Colette were invited to one of our big neighborhood ones, if I remember correctly. I was too young and they didn't come in yet into the picture yet. Don't remember fully. But it is definitely something that we always had, is that our table was open to anyone. So this year was a little bit harder, which was 2019, before COVID. And you might be asking, it's not COVID, how is it harder? Well, I wasn't able to come down for Thanksgiving this year. And I believe that Teresa wasn't able to either. So it was just mom and dad when they were making a very small turkey for leftovers. And dad really enjoyed it, as he put, moist and delicious. But because of snowstorms, we weren't able to go down. And this is the same year that I went to Disneyland with some friends at the time. And we actually got in a car accident because of the snowstorms before that. So in February. So it was kind of just a really snowy year. And it was a little harder to come down that year. Now for 2020. Mom was having a little bit of a harder time doing a whole feast. As much as she loved doing the feast, it was a little harder for her. So Teresa and Mike offered to do Thanksgiving for us, and we were really thankful for that. And of course, even though mom couldn't do the full feast, she had to make some pies. I'll put them in here. She had to make some pies, and as dad puts, the food was plentiful and good, as was the company, just because we really love them, and they are part of our family as well. Of course, mom made her pumpkin pie with leaves this time, and then she also made a cherry pie with leaves. We got these new leaf cookie cutters that were really fun to use, and I actually have them now. But of course, we were being responsible, and we were masking up when we weren't eating and everything. We took COVID tests before going, all the 9 yards, so we were safe. Mom was autoimmune, so we had to be extra careful. As normal, we had a good one for 2022, and then this is the footage from this year. Teresa and her friends came over. Teresa made the entire thing. We were going to offer to make something, but I didn't have time, and dad was a little bit busy. So unfortunately, we didn't bring anything to it but ourselves. But Teresa made a wonderful, amazing moist turkey with some really good Brussels sprouts, some really good Texas rolls. Her friend made a cheesecake that was really good, and mac and cheese, which dad even liked, and he's not a big mac and cheese person. And we had ham and some air fried potatoes and corn, and I think that was everything. But yeah, no, Teresa made it this year, and I'll put in the little video of her cutting the turkey. Is that an apple?
Yep.
Oh, heck yes. Instead of oranges this year?
I always do apples.
But yeah, no, that's basically thankful. This is Thanksgiving, and I guess I'm thankful for stuff this year, but it was hard this year without mom at Thanksgiving, because this is her holiday, she always went out of the way to do everything for it. But I'd say I'm thankful that we had all the time that we could with her, and I'm thankful that Teresa was willing to do the feast for us. Teresa and Mike were able to host us. I'm also thankful for my girlfriend. And my Uncle Mike actually wanted to have us for Saturday, but we were in Seattle at the time, so we couldn't. So maybe next year. But so I can see my cousins again. That'd be really nice. And yeah, so I guess this is the long rambling Thanksgiving one. Of course, we are on native lands. We are on stolen land. Totally get it. But I want to make sure that's known, because that's how I feel. But yeah, but happy Thanksgiving, guys, and hope you guys have a good year. And well, year's almost done, so we'll see if I continue these videos. This one in Seattle are the last two for the class, which you'll be seeing Seattle next. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, great year, a little remaining of the year if you guys don't see me. I am working on the website and the shop. I got it set up. I'll put the link in the bio of the actual shop. I will actually put the website when that's done up as well. I only have 3 things listed right now from Emily. But yeah, no, everything going on. But yeah, have a good time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.